Daisy is one of the well-known flowers around the world, and let's paint it today. Hi, this is Modula, the artist behind Modula Creations. In today's painting, we are going to do a beautiful flower. And I know I love flowers and you are here for the same reason. Let's get started. For today's painting, I am using a black canvas and I am using a white pencil to draw on top of it. I am starting with the drawing of the daisy flower here. So as you know, daisy is a well-known flower around the world, and when you are drawing this beautiful flower, you have to ensure that it is located around the central disc. So all the petals emerge out from the disc and they are little bit sharper at the edge. So having those points in mind, just get started with the drawing. Once you finish off with the basic petal structure and you are happy with it, we'll start with the painting. The paints that I am using today are Naples yellow, white and primary magenta. You can also use a crimson lake if you don't have a primary magenta. So for the lightest pink, I am using a combination of the magenta and white. I'm starting to paint from the part where it is connecting to the disc and just coming outward. So for each of the petals, I'll be mixing all these colors together, and first let me define each of the petals separately. When you're working on the flowers, always it is best to work on each of these petals separately and build them in layers and not to urge your work towards the end. There are so many colors of daisies, and there are also a variety of species of daisies. So pick your favorite color for you to paint. I have chosen a pink color. They also come in orange, red, purple. So pick whichever color you like and then do your painting. The iconic daisy, as you know, is a white in color. So of course, if you want to do a white daisy, go ahead to do it. I'm continuing to give the same colors for each of the petals, and for the petals that is behind, I have kept it little more darker than the petals at the foreground. If you are new to acrylics, here is my free guide on color mixing for beginners, which has all the basics and tips for color mixing. You can download it from the link guide.modulacreations.com. I will also leave a link in the description below. So as you can see, the daisies are packed closely together in the center. Flowers have that slender tubular petals, and the petals are also evenly spaced. They are pointed at the edge, not like a very sharp edge, but then as it goes towards the end, make sure that you make it a little bit smaller. Once we are done with the initial filling of these areas, then we will go ahead to add our second layers. The first layer is just a guide for me to go along the petals and see which area is darker and which area is lighter. As you start developing the further layers, now what we will do is we will start working on the lighter and the darker areas for each of the petals separately as we develop these layers. For those who are watching me for the first time, I do post video tutorials like this one, product reviews and much more on my channel every single week. So do subscribe and also click on the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. I have done similar flower painting videos on my channel. I'll link it in the card above and in the description box below. Do check them out after you finish watching this video. This is the layer. We will also define which petal is going to come forward and which petal is going to go behind in a more in-depth manner, just using the right kind of colors. You can choose to work from one side corner of the painting and come along to the next side. I am starting somewhere in the middle, going towards both the sides. So it just depends on your comfort level on where and how you want to work. And I'm working on a black canvas today. You can alternately work on a white canvas as well, and if you want a darker background you can fill with black finally. The other way to do is to use a black gesso and gesso your canvas before starting to paint. Daisies are almost 10% of the flowering plants on the planet. So you can think about it. It's like a lot of species of daisies are available, right? There are around 20,000 species of daisies. So they occupy almost 10% of all the flowering plants. They can also adapt to almost any environment. Very easy to grow. Not only that, they have more uses than just looking beautiful. They are used for landscaping. It is a great source of vitamin C and they have a lot of medicinal properties. It's not only for beauty, it has more than that. Now for the behind petals, as you can see, some of the petals are folding. So for that you might have to just make your inside part little more darker so that it looks like the petal is folded. Same way for the outside petals, ensure you are making one of the petal on top and show the overlapping properties of the petals itself. It's basically how much you observe your flower, that much your output will be. Similar to the first layer, how we worked on each of these petals separately, the second layer also we have to continue to do the same, defining each of them separately. So for you as an artist, you'll have to just think that each of them is a separate object when you're creating these textures and shadows and overlapping effects. And overall, when you are just finishing the project, it's always best to see how it appears as a whole. So at that time you will make more changes to it, like smaller details. Some places you think it is too bright or too low. So all those kind of details you can change it at a later point of time. For the first one or two layers, work with them as individual petals. And you should not also vary the colors too much. For example, if you are using a crimson lake, continue to use a crimson lake for all these pink colors there. If you are wearing too much of a colors, like juggling between yellows, Naples yellow and all these colors, then you will not get a harmonious look when you finish the painting. For the darker areas, I'm bringing in a touch of piney grey. I'm not going to use any black, but then I'm just going to use a touch of piney grey. This is the layer that I'll just introduce it little bit. I've finished the right side of the petals. The second layer is done there. So now you can see the difference between the right and the left side, how much we have developed on the right and how much you are yet to develop on the left. So that is how you keep working with acrylics. So we will continue to do the same thing on the left side of these petals. Some of the daisies are very delicate and some of them are very tough, and there are also different sizes of daisies. Some of these daisies are smaller and some of them are large daisies. Today we are painting a large one. So if you want to paint from nature directly, you can pick whatever daisy is available near you, or if you have your own garden, well and good, you can directly paint your daisies from your garden. I am using a lot of blending techniques to blend these petals separately, and at some places I have kept it very raw, and that is how I want them. Let's continue to finish off the last few petals. When you are placing the petals and when you are doing the attaching part to the central disc, it's very important to maintain the space. The spacing between these petals are almost same. So do not have one petal very far apart from the other. Always have a equal spacing between these petals. These daisies actually come from sunflower family, so you can see most of the properties of sunflower in the daisies as well. And as far as its evolution itself is considered, they have been around 42 to 36 million years. That's a very long time they are on this planet. Now let's finish the behind petals. So here also always work with each of these petals separately. See where you have the darker, lighter areas and how they are overlapping. All those tiny details so that you can get your paintings at a different level. So there we go. We are just almost finishing off with the final petal. You can keep working on these petals as much as you want, taking them to photorealistic paintings, or you can just stop wherever you feel you need to stop. So there is no hard and fast rule on where to stop your painting. It is totally up to you. Now let's start working on the central disc of the flower. So the central disc is almost yellow. They have a very complex pattern. I'm not going to follow the exact pattern of that, but then we'll have to show it like a continuous center floret parts, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to use cad yellow along with Naples yellow. So I'm going to use all these colors and a touch of pink as well to give as a whole harmonious look to the flower. The same way I'm going to do it in layers. Because we are working on black canvas, you can add one or two more layers to your painting so that it looks more brighter when you finish the work. And finally I'm going to have this finest gray to have a darker look on the parts where it is connecting with the central disc. So let's finish off with all these tiny details now. And here is the finished piece. Let's take off the sides. Yeah, here we go. Here is the finished piece of work. If you like this painting and got value from this video, click on the like button and do share it with your friends too. Do subscribe and let's stay in touch. If you have any questions, please post it in the comment section below and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Happy painting. Bye bye.